my friends, welcome to Lean and Clean with Fitness Chef Christine. I am Christine, your host, and today we are joined by Amy, and she is a faster way coach. So, my friends, I'm going to turn it over to Amy, and she's going to tell us all about how it is that she became a coach and what she teaches. So, Amy, take it away, baby.
Okay. I retired at 51, and I had some of those, and I should say I'm an educator. I was a teacher and then a superintendent, but by the time I retired. And so I'm a lifelong learner, and I had always been focused on staying a small weight. I'm a small woman, so I did not want to gain weight. And so I ran for decades, and I did so many miles.
Did you enjoy it, or you just did it for weight management?
I did enjoy it, but I was doing it. I was trying to out exercise what I was eating because I didn't know what to eat.
Been there.
I have a terrible sweet tooth, and I would do the low calorie for a while, and then I would binge because I was starved. I tried to do low carb. I could not do that. I am a rebel. As I'm learning about myself as I age, because if you tell me to do something this certain way, I'm going to find a way to do it differently.
Same.
But at my retirement, I relaxed a little bit. I had brand new grand twins in my house while their home was being built. And so I was nurturing everybody. I was feeding us all. I was just having a field day and eating all the time.
Yes.
And so I was still trying to run, and I had developed plantar fasciitis. I also had some hip issues, and I knew I could not keep running. So I looked for a program that would help me with my nutrition because I knew I just couldn't keep out exercising.
Right.
And so I found this little program back in 2017 called Faster Way to Fat Loss. And it had some unique strategies that I had not tried before, such as I did not know how to track macros, didn't know anything about that. And I never tried intermittent fasting and thought that I could never do that because that sounded like starving to me.
Right.
I knew I would get jittery and weak and all of that. So I thought, I'm going to try it and just see. And so 6 weeks later, I had lost more than I had tried to lose in forever. It had come off.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to stop this. In the past, I couldn't wait till the 21 days or whatever the diet was supposed to be. And I didn't want to stop this. And so now it's been more than 6 years.
Right.
September was 6 years, and I still live these strategies because they are flexible enough for my rebel self. They are healthy enough to keep doing forever.
Right.
And they are effective because I'm 57 now, and I'm leaner than in my 30s and 40s. And I'm not having to run half marathons and train long miles on weekends and every day and all that. So that's my story. I did become a coach because I loved it so much. I knew that everybody I knew basically was doing fat loss the wrong way.
Right.
Just like I had been doing. So that's why I became a coach, and that's the rest of the story.
Not quite, because I found you through a podcast. So
that's right.
We have lots in common. So you had grandbabies. I had a grandson. I was also one of those exercise maniacs trying to work it all off because I owned a bakery and I love sweets. And just so our audience understands that it's not fasting every single day unless you choose to do it that way. It is a lot of macro counting. I did some research and looked into it, and I joined the program for a bit because I am what I call a nutrition nerd. So I always like to learn, and I'm just like a sponge. I got to learn everything. So I've taken 17 different nutrition courses, and always find it funny because they always contradict each other. Do this, do it that way, do it this way. All the experts, these are PhD level people, and they can't seem to agree. What I liked about the program is it blended a little bit of everything. So you have some fasting days, you have intermittent fasting, You have some days that you're just counting macros. So it's an integration of everything, which I found fascinating. Now, you talk about being a rebel. I'm a rebel too, because I decided to do it right before my daughter's wedding, which was not the brightest idea I've ever had. But we live and we learn. I still learned about it. It was good. And I'll still continue to do it. But I just thought it was funny because I had great expectations for myself, which we're all human and it happens. I'm honest. Those
Yes.
things happen. But
Yeah.
I do love your story because so many of us enter perimenopause and think, oh, I've heard about this menopause stuff. I got this. I'm good. I've got it under control. I know what to do. And then we don't. And then we don't.
Yes.
It just
Yeah.
happens. You start
Yes.
to gain a little weight, and all of a sudden you're like 20 pounds, 30 pounds. Oh my gosh, what's happening? And so when I talk to women, I talk to a lot of women who are going through that transition and they're depressed and they feel ugly and awful and their relationships are all wonky because they're not feeling good about themselves. So who wants to be with their partner when they're not feeling good? And so I really love to encourage coaches to come on and talk about their different styles and what works for their people. So I found your story fascinating and relatable. And I love that it's an app that you can just log into, follow along. It reminds you what to do every day. And I was still able to cook food that I love. And as a chef, I'm very foodie. So I have to have
Yes.
my food.
Well,
So
that's one of those rebel tendencies of ours. Even though there is a meal plan presented there, we have the freedom. We have our, I help you set your macros, and the app supports that. We have rings that you feel as you add your food to it, so you're on track.
yeah, I haven't done that part yet. I did put in the macro stuff, but I haven't gotten that far along. So I'll have to
Uh-huh.
look at that part.
Our class doesn't start for a couple more weeks, so
Well,
you're good.
I'm
You're
ahead.
good
I'm
with
ahead.
that right now. But I wanted to share that we are combining. You mentioned that we're combining things, but we are combining strength workouts because that's what I was lacking. I was doing all cardio and I didn't know better.
It's like a miracle when you start to lift.
Yes,
The body recomposition is so phenomenal.
it is. That was what I was so shocked about. My runner's legs slimmed down
Yeah.
and
And
I
got
wasn't running.
yeah,
Um,
that was a big change for me too. And I like how you present it too. It's a very methodical presentation. So you can follow along, which is always helpful.
Yes, yes. We have all start where you are is what we can do because we have all different options. You can watch a different trainer if you need modifications. If you're just a beginner, and we all are beginners, those workouts, I still struggled through some of those, and I've been doing them for more than 6 years. I wanted to share too about, of course, we do macros, we do intermittent fasting, we do carb cycling. Those are nutrition strategies. But the other thing, besides changing to strength training, was mindset. That is one thing that I focus a whole lot on.
Too.
My clients get a lot of mindset. I'm doing a mindset maker leading into this class because I want you to be reframing those old thoughts
I
that
love
keep
it.
you stuck, and or that when you get to a certain point, you regress. And so these mindset things, they made the biggest difference in my rebel brain. And so I like to share those things with my clients. So you have all of the tools.
I love it. And I love that you share your faith too, because the pillars of my podcast are it is food, fitness, fat loss, and faith. And I think
Yes.
it integrates, it's so important to have that mindset piece. Whether
Yeah.
it's a Christian mindset or not, it's important that we believe in ourselves, that we recognize that we're worthy. I find so many women that I work with don't feel worthy. They're
Yes.
so busy taking care of their families or their kids and their grandkids, and they just don't feel worthy of taking the time out for themselves. And it's
And so focused on the number on a scale
ah, makes me
instead
crazy.
of the journey and enjoying the community that we create and the daily progress. We do weekly progress, weekly
Yes.
wins on
Yep.
Fridays.
Yep.
But I have started with my VIPs telling them, look, y'all, we can have daily wins because I need more than just waiting till Friday to identify something good happening today. I need to know today what's happening good. So I'm looking for those wins every day.
I love it. Hey, I put my lipstick on today. That's my win.
Yeah.
Got my workout in, my yin yoga, and my lipstick. It's a triple win. It's
There
good.
you go.
I'll tell you, if you could do me a favor, when we wrap things up, make sure that you send me your contact information. Tell me the name of the podcast again.
The podcast is Fat Loss School because I'm a teacher. So you hear the bells ringing. We might do pop quizzes, all of that. I play off of that. That's my creativity at play.
I love it.
But it's Fat Loss School. It is weight, wellness, and mindset for women over 50. And I also have a free info group. If you search for me, or I'm on Instagram as well at Amy Bryan Fasterway, and Bryan is Bryan.
And I'll put that in the show notes too, so everybody doesn't have to memorize it.
Yes, yes. I have in Instagram, you can go to Linktree and you can find every way to listen to my podcast, get on my schedule. All the things are there, the free info group. So I do invite everybody to come and learn from me. I am just very passionate about it. I intended to retire and be retired.
That's
Um,
boring. Who wants to do that?
but I have such a great community. I also am a lifelong learner. I continue reading the books and taking the classes and getting more certifications and sharing what I'm learning. And
I love it.
that's me.
I love it. I think that's a phenomenal journey. And I think, thank you so much for sharing with us. And I will put all in the show notes and we'll go through like how everybody can contact you, where they can find you. I'll put your link tree in there too. But on a personal note, I thank you so much for sharing with me and with the audience. And just, it's always nice to have someone else who's been on the same journey as myself and just is willing to share that. It's a great sharing what you go through blesses other people. And so I really appreciate all the coaches coming and talking, not just with me, but with the audience and with everybody else. And I encourage everybody to reach out to Amy because we don't have to go through this journey alone. It's a community. And I also have a free community, and we're all here with the same mission to help everybody feel better in midlife, because or any part of life, really, you don't have to be stuck. There's enough information out there. We get it. Like fat loss isn't difficult, but it is hard. It's a simple process, but it's hard to implement. So with all the help that we can get, right?
There you go.
All right. Well, friends, connect with Amy. Make sure that you get in that free group and find out more about it. I encourage you always to keep moving forward, stay positive, know that God has got great plans for you. And if you have enjoyed this podcast, we would appreciate so much if you would give us a rating and make sure that you go ahead and leave a review on Apple Podcasts if you feel moved to do that. Find Amy's podcast, The Fat Loss School, because it is a real fun podcast. And we will talk again soon. I send you all love and prayers.